I don't know what prompted me to write this in my notebook as a video idea, but I wanted to talk a little bit about mental health. I mean, I personally, I have my ups and downs. I'm in a pretty good place right now. Just been, I talked about it in my last video, I think, just grinding, just working a lot. And sometimes I feel like I'm on autopilot and stuff like that. I know there's people I got to reach out to and catch up with, and obviously people I want to see, but I talk about it also in my last video, the importance of time allocation and where you're spending that time and stuff like that. And I feel like personally I haven't been a great son, a great brother, a great friend at times as a result of just moving here and, like I said, working. Man, you gotta sacrifice. We got to make things happen. So it's just been pedal to the metal. You lose sight of other things and you get caught up in life, obviously, and everybody does, right? It's normal, but I need to remind myself to come back down to earth once in a while and appreciate the people in my life, everybody around me, stuff like that. And this video is a little more candid so far. I'm really just not in the headspace to make one, but like I said, I committed to myself to do 30 days. So, but yeah, regarding mental health, life's hard. And I mean, I'm incredibly blessed. I try to maintain perspective when these things happen. I almost feel bad for feeling bad, right? Because it's like, how could I complain? And I don't know if other people feel this way, but it's like I look out our window and there's a homeless guy that lives across the street. Like that guy's life is hard. My life is not hard. And then I feel, like I said, I feel guilty for feeling bad and not being in the best mood all the time. And, is that okay? Is it not okay? Should I? And it's human nature. These are emotions. You have to feel them. Not everybody's going to give you 110% every single day and in every interaction and whatnot. So I need to, like I always say, have grace with myself and stuff, and you guys should as well. It's okay to feel things. It's okay to feel sad or angry or bad one day, and obviously, you should feel good too, right? Life is, supposed to be enjoyable, and you have to have this spectrum of emotions because that's what makes us human. I think in this sense, the most important thing is maintaining perspective and understanding that okay, I can feel bad, I can feel sad, but I need to move on at some point. And obviously, there's situations and things that happen in life that prompt these emotions. So it depends, right? You need to process things and do it in a healthy manner and in the right time frame and stuff like that. But obviously, these are case by case basis. But if you just wake up one day and you're not feeling it, that's okay. But at some point you got to say, all right, it's a beautiful life. Today's a good day, and let's conquer whatever's in front of us. And that'll put a smile on your face, I bet. So, but yeah, I prompt you guys to check in on your friends, check in on your family. Just make sure they're doing all right. There's a lot of stuff that also goes on behind the scenes and in people's heads, and you really don't realize what people are going through. Hopefully, that's not the case with any of you, obviously, but it's true. You really never know. So, and everybody deals with emotions differently, right? My brother and I recently we don't really argue, but we're very different. We have a different emotional genetic makeup, things of that nature. So we process emotions very differently. I'm more of a hard ass. I'm definitely, and anybody who knows me might agree, but I kind of try to be emotionless, maybe stoic, or my emotions are an afterthought, right? And the most important thing is to take care of what has to get done and maybe I guess deal with the emotions later. Obviously that's not super healthy and my mood fluctuates quite frequently as a result of that. So maybe it's something I have to work on and take a different approach as to how I deal with my emotions. But my brother's more, I don't know if confrontational is the right word, but he deals with his emotions, he faces them head on, and he's going to tell you how he feels and stuff like that. So we differ in that sense, and living together, these are things, not that I didn't know this about him, but I just think there's value in maybe taking a step back and reminding yourself that okay, just because I deal with something a certain way doesn't mean he does, and vice versa. And we need to respect that about each other, and we'll figure it out, right? Obviously, we're brothers, so it's a different relationship. But anybody in your life, just remind yourself, what's going on in their head might not be. It's certainly actually not what's going on in your head, and mental health. You don't even realize. Unfortunately, I don't know if anybody who follows the NFL, a couple people this past season, just recently, they committed suicide, and I'm not going to get crazy about it. It's very heavy, but you don't. I mean, these athletes, right, who make millions of dollars, they live the lifestyle. They're big football players. They're kids 24, 25, my age. You know what I mean? So to my point about you don't realize what's going on behind the scenes. So it's unbelievable. It's incredibly sad and disheartening. But I prompt two things. I prompt you guys to one, reach out to somebody who maybe you haven't spoken to in a while, just because, not necessarily because you might think they're prone to doing something, hopefully not, but somebody you've been thinking about maybe, or somebody from college or high school you haven't spoken to in a while, or your old job, stuff like that, or maybe a family member, an aunt, uncle, cousin that you maybe lost touch with. Life, like I said, you get caught up and stuff. So, and second, I implore you guys to be graceful with each other, right? Anybody in your life on a day-to-day basis, the cashier at the grocery store, the retail worker, the person in traffic who doesn't know what they're doing, just look within, take a deep breath. Why am I getting upset about X, Y, or Z? And does the punishment fit the crime, type of thing. We're all on our own journeys trying to figure it out, and that looks different for everybody. So you never know what's going on in somebody's head or in somebody's life, right? So take it easy. We're all in it together. I always say, I know I preach the same things in every video, but I say them because they're true. And let's try to make the path to the destination as easy as possible for each other, and enjoy the path, because that's what it's about. It's not about the destination, right? We're all going to the same place. Let's enjoy the path getting there.